chaos at Ibrox as Russell Martin's job hangs by a thread after a humiliating draw to Saint Mirren. Yes, it's worse than critical, and the clock is ticking. Rangers plot a sensational swoop for Bojan Miovski as Girona slam the door on his future. But that's not all. Youssef Chermiti, the £10 million Everton misfit, could be heading to Glasgow in a shock loan move, and just when it couldn't get more explosive, Brendan Rodgers might be walking out on Celtic again with Nottingham Forest, ready to pounce. Could this be the moment Rangers finally strike back? Strap in, because what's happening behind the scenes could flip the title race on its head. It's Saturday, the 24th of August, and after yet another frustrating afternoon, you might just need a strong cup of tea or something even stronger, because Rangers have stumbled yet again, drawing away to Saint Mirren in a match that felt far more like a defeat. 71% possession, 578 passes, 7 corners. On paper, it sounds like domination, but in reality, it was a masterclass in wasted opportunity. A barrage of desperate crosses, overhit, misdirected, floated into empty space, and not a proper striker on the pitch to begin with. Joe Rothwell started the game as if he'd turned up at the wrong stadium. There was no focal point up top, no bite, no conviction. It was like watching someone trying to open a locked door with the wrong key, over and over again, refusing to admit it just wasn't going to work. Russell Martin, the man brought in to bring structure and spark, is looking utterly lost. We're winless in the league after 2 games for the first time since 1989. That's not just bad form, it's historical. And let's not forget the midweek humiliation at Ibrox. Club Brugge 3-0, up within 20 minutes. That wasn't a Champions League qualifier, that was a public embarrassment. Now, with this Saint Mirren disaster behind us, we march straight into a brutal week. Brugge away in the second leg, followed by the Old Firm at Ibrox. It's the kind of schedule that makes or breaks not just a season, but a manager. Russell Martin had the nerve to suggest these upcoming matches aren't critical, but how can anyone look at this situation and not feel like the roof's caving in? Gary Keown didn't hold back. He said, if we don't beat Saint Mirren and take a doing off Celtic, Martin's position will be worse than critical. He'll be dead meat. Now tell me this, after that shambles today, do you honestly believe Russell Martin deserves to lead Rangers into the Old Firm next weekend? Bojan Miovski, the lad who ran riot with Aberdeen, is now being lined up for a sensational return to Scotland, this time pulling on the royal blue of Rangers. It looks like after just 1 year in Spain, where things haven't exactly gone to plan, Miovski's time with Girona is just about done. The Spanish side, who paid a hefty £6.8 million for him just last summer, have told him he's got no future there. Brutal, but you know what they say, if you can't make it work in Catalonia, get yourself back to the promised land. Now, you'll remember Miovski well from his Aberdeen days. 44 goals in 98 games, and 26 of those came just last season. He was a machine. He made life miserable for defences across the country, and don't forget he walked straight into the PFA Scotland Team of the Year. There's a reason Rangers wanted him last summer, and you can bet your boots Derek Ferguson hasn't shut up about it since, called it a no-brainer, and to be fair, he might be spot on. Thing is, Miovski's La Liga adventure hasn't exactly been a holiday postcard. Just 4 goals in 23 matches, a handful of decent passes, and let's be honest, he looked miles off the pace. The stats over the last year don't lie. Non-penalty goals down at 0.15 per 90 minutes. That's not exactly what you want from your main striker. But here's where it gets interesting. Rangers might not be able to splash out for a permanent move unless someone gets shifted out the door. A loan deal's on the table, and Miovski himself prefers something long-term, but with Girona washing their hands of him, he might not have much choice. And let's face it, the chance to get back into a league where he was once the top dog. That could be the spark he needs. Russell Martin's clearly desperate for someone to lead the line. Desers and Danilo haven't convinced anyone. Martin's chopping and changing like he's picking raffle tickets. If Miovski lands at Ibrox and rediscovers even half the form he had in the Granite City, he could be the hammer to smash the Celtic defense to bits. Now, here's what I want to ask you. Would bringing in a striker who's just flopped in Spain make Rangers look ambitious, or does it reek of desperation when we're meant to be challenging for the title and wiping the floor with Celtic? Youssef Chermiti, remember the name, because if Kevin Thelwell gets his way, you might be hearing it over the tannoy at Ibrox before the end of the transfer window. The former Everton sporting director, now wearing the blue and white scarf of Rangers, is eyeing up a deal that would see the Portuguese striker make the move north on loan. Chermiti, still only 21, came to Everton last summer for around £10 million from Sporting CP, and he's reportedly earning £30,000 a week, money that Everton, let's be honest, are desperate to get off the books. Now, Rangers have already brought in a whole host of attacking options: Mikey Moore, Oliver Antman, Oscar Cortez, Thalo Arsgaard, and of course, JD Gassama. But here's the issue: 2 games, 2 goals, not exactly title-winning form. Russell Martin knows it, you know it, and everyone watching knows it. That blunt edge up front could be the difference between a proper challenge and another season of what-ifs. Chermiti's record at senior level doesn't exactly scream next big thing. 24 games for Everton, not a single goal. And to make things worse, the lad missed 24 games through injury last season. It's not the sort of CV you'd expect from a potential starting striker for Rangers, but there's still something there. At academy level, he banged in 4 goals in 5 games, and Thelwell clearly sees him as a rough diamond. So what's the play here? Is this about potential or panic? A loan deal for Chermiti could work. He gets minutes, Everton ease their wage bill, and Rangers maybe strike gold with a late bloomer. Or it could be another Desert-style gamble that ends up leaving Martin right back at square one. Now, let me throw the cat among the pigeons. Would signing a goal-shy Everton cast-off like Chermiti be a step forward for Rangers? Or are we turning into a rehab centre for failed Premier League projects while Celtic gets stronger by the week? Here's one for you. A bit of good news at last, and it's coming from the most unexpected of places, the dark side of Glasgow. While Russell Martin finds himself already under the microscope after 2 limp draws and that horror show against Club Brugge at Ibrox, there might be a flicker of light coming from Parkhead. Brendan Rodgers, the man who can't seem to stay away from Celtic, is now being linked with a move back down south. And not just any move. Nottingham Forest are sniffing about, with reports claiming Rodgers is top of their list should Nuno Espirito Santo get the chop. Now let that settle for a second. If true, this could be the shake-up Rangers have been crying out for. Because say what you like about Rodgers, and believe me, I've got a drawer full of things I'd like to say. He's had Celtic ticking over like a rigged fruit machine under his watch, and Ange's too. It's been nothing but pain on our side of the city. 14 out of the last 15 league titles. That's not just dominance, that's suffocation. But here's the thing: Rodgers leaving mid-season with Celtic fans already grumbling about the board could cause a meltdown over there. It happened the last time he jumped ship for Leicester, and you better believe they haven't forgotten. If he bolts again, the trust is gone, the dressing room's rattled, and the Parkhead faithful will be sharpening their pitchforks. And while all that chaos brews across the city, Rangers must stay laser-focused. This is the moment you've got to seize. No more excuses, no more settling for second. While Celtic's house starts to wobble, Ibrox must stand firm. Martin needs to rally the squad, get consistency in the league, and finally put serious pressure on a rival that's been too comfortable for too long. Now let me throw this grenade in your direction. If Rodgers does walk away from Celtic again and Rangers still fail to win the title this season, does it prove the problems lie within Ibrox, not across the city? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.